Welcome to Everyday English Stories. Today's story is called The Morning Run. It is told with nuanced, idiomatic language for level C1. Listen carefully, and after the story we learn 6 useful words. For the better part of 5 years, Priya's horizons had narrowed to the dimensions of a monitor. She was diligent, well-regarded, and by every outward measure thriving, and yet each evening she came home hollowed out. The tiredness she carried was not the honest fatigue of exertion, but something duller and rather more insidious. One Sunday, on impulse, she threw open the window and let the raw morning air flood the flat. Below, a woman was running along the deserted street with an economy of motion that Priya found almost enviable. She had run herself once, in what felt like another life, before ambition quietly annexed her mornings. In the depths of the hall cupboard she unearthed a pair of trainers, scuffed and long out of fashion. They were an artifact of a former self, and, remarkably, they fitted her still. Her alarm sounded at 6 on Monday, and every instinct she possessed argued for another hour in bed. She overruled them, laced up, and let herself out into the gray hush of the street. The first 60 seconds were exhilarating. The next 60 disabused her of any illusions. Her lungs protested, her legs turned leaden, and she came to a halt after barely 2 minutes, thoroughly winded. She walked home chastened, faintly ridiculous in her ancient shoes. A more sensible woman might have shelved the whole enterprise then and there. Priya, to her own mild surprise, went out again the following morning. 3 minutes became 5, 5 became 8, and progress arrived in increments so modest they were easy to overlook. One damp morning, an older man drew alongside her by the pond and matched her stride without a word. He introduced himself as Sam and admitted, with something like sheepishness, to 3 decades on the very same circuit. "You're running as though somebody were chasing you," he observed. "Ease off, and the distance will come to you." It sounded like a platitude, and she resented it slightly, right up until the morning she tried it. Once she stopped treating every run as a verdict on her character, the whole business became bearable, and then quietly pleasant. The miles accumulated with the unhurried inevitability of compound interest. Within a month, half an hour on her feet had ceased to be an ordeal and become, improbably, a pleasure. She slept the deep sleep of the genuinely tired, and her afternoons no longer sagged. Colleagues observed, without quite being able to say why, that she seemed unaccountably light of late. On Saturdays she and Sam took the long loop, trading small talk and companionable silence in roughly equal measure. She remained, by any objective standard, an unremarkable runner, and she had long since made her peace with the fact. Speed, she had come to understand, had never really been the point. What she had gained was an hour that belonged to nobody but herself, reclaimed from a life that had quietly laid claim to all the others. Each morning, stepping out into the cool and the quiet, she felt the day unfold before her rather than close in around her. It was, she thought, a very small revolution, and it was entirely her own. Now let's learn 6 useful words from the story. Word 1. Hollowed out. It means, emotionally or physically emptied, drained of vitality. In the story, by every outward measure she was thriving, and yet each evening she came home hollowed out. Word 2. Insidious. It means, harmful in a gradual, barely noticeable way. In the story, the tiredness she carried was something duller and rather more insidious. Word 3. To disabuse someone of an illusion. It means, to free someone from a mistaken belief. In the story, the next 60 seconds disabused her of any illusions. Word 4. Chastened. It means, humbled and subdued by a setback. In the story, she walked home chastened, faintly ridiculous in her ancient shoes. Word 5. A platitude. It means a remark that is obvious and overused, yet offered as wisdom. In the story, it sounded like a platitude, and she resented it slightly. Word 6. To make your peace with something. It means to come to accept something you cannot change. In the story, she had long since made her peace with the fact. That's the end of today's episode. Here is a tip: listen to the story again, and this time read along with the words on the screen. Then listen a third time with your eyes closed, and try to picture the story. New episodes every day, so please subscribe. See you tomorrow.